That Wonder That Was India, by A. L. Basham is a renowned and comprehensive work that explores the rich history and culture of ancient India. The book covers a wide range of topics, from the earliest civilizations to the medieval period. Providing a detailed summary would be quite extensive. However, I can provide an overview of the book's key themes and content. Introduction. The book begins by setting the stage for an exploration of India's history and culture. It emphasizes the remarkable achievements and contributions of ancient India to the world. Chapter 1. The Geography of India. Basham discusses India's geographical features, including its rivers, mountains, and climate. Geography played a significant role in shaping the region's history and civilization. Chapter 2. The Prehistoric Background. The book delves into India's prehistoric period, including the Indus Valley Civilization and other early cultures that inhabited the subcontinent. Chapter 3. The Vedic Age. Basham explores the arrival of the Indo-Aryans and the emergence of the Vedic civilization. The Vedic texts, rituals, and society are discussed in detail. Chapter 4. The Second Urbanization. This chapter covers the post-Vedic period and the rise of other ancient Indian civilizations, including the Mauryan and Gupta empires. Chapter 5. Hinduism. Basham delves into the evolution of Hinduism, its sacred texts, gods, and rituals. He explains the philosophical and religious developments that shaped the faith. Chapter 6. The History of Buddhism. The book provides an in-depth examination of the life and teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, the historical Buddha, and the spread of Buddhism in India and beyond. Chapter 7. Jainism and the Ajivikas. Basham discusses the Jain and Ajivika religious traditions, their founders, beliefs, and their influence on Indian society. Chapter 8. The Persian and Greek Conquests. This chapter examines the invasions of India by Persian and Greek rulers, such as Alexander the Great, and their impact on the Indian subcontinent. Chapter 9. The Mauryas. Basham provides a detailed account of the Mauryan Empire, including the reign of Emperor Ashoka and his conversion to Buddhism. Chapter 10. The Shungas and the Pushyamithras. The subsequent dynasties following the Mauryas are discussed, along with the rise of the Pushyamitra Sangha. Chapter 11. The Age of the Satavahanas. Basham explores the history of the Satavahana dynasty in South India and its contributions to art, culture, and trade. Chapter 12. The Guptas and their predecessors. The Gupta Empire is a central focus, and the book details its achievements in art, science, mathematics, and administration. Chapter 13. The Age of the Guptas. Basham continues to discuss the golden age of the Guptas, including their patronage of the arts and the emergence of classical Sanskrit literature. Chapter 14. Harshaw. The book examines the reign of King Harshaw and the socio-political climate of northern India during his rule. Chapter 15. The South and the Deccan. Basham turns his attention to the history of South India, discussing the Kilas, Chalukyas, and the unique Dravidian culture. Chapter 16. The Muslim Invasions. This chapter covers the arrival of Islam in India, the Ghaznavid and Ghurid invasions, and the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. Chapter 17. The Mughal Empire. Basham provides a comprehensive account of the Mughal Empire, including the reigns of Babur, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. Chapter 18. British India. The book explores the British colonization of India, the impact of the East India Company, and the struggle for independence. Chapter 19. The Revolt of 1857. Basham discusses the First War of Independence and the events leading up to the Indian freedom movement. Chapter 20. The Growth of Nationalism. This chapter examines the rise of Indian nationalism, including the contributions of leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. Chapter 21. Independence and Partition. The book concludes with the achievement of Indian independence in 1947 and the subsequent partition of India into India and Pakistan. That Wonder That Was India is a comprehensive and authoritative exploration of India's history, culture, and civilization. It serves as a valuable resource for those interested in the deep and diverse heritage of the Indian subcontinent.